Hello, everybody. How's it going? How do we already have three people on here? I just put this stream up. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Washington. We have the sun setting, and it's a lovely night out. So, I decided that I was going to do another live stream. Just did a live stream, but it was kind of an unboxing, and it was kind of a little hectic in a great way. And tonight I wanted to do something a little more laid back. And I feel like tonight will be a little slower, so we'll have the ability to answer questions like, Alex, when are you ever going to shave and cut your hair? The answer is when they let me, when I'm allowed out of the house. No. So yeah, basically, I don't have a ton going on in this live stream, but I did want to talk about community fish and the best fish that get together, they get along in a community, and just a couple little tips about that. So that's kind of the subject matter if there is one, but I can't promise you that this won't be one of those rambly streams. It might be a trickling stream of thought, not a consistent stream of thought. There may be waterfalls in this stream of consciousness. So, welcome. And I hope you guys are doing well. This stream is also about you guys. If you have any questions, if you have any burning desires, any opinions. The other thing I've done is I have monetized the channel with memberships. So, my hope is I can get rid of some ads for one, then the videos will be more enjoyable, hopefully, when you don't have to watch as many ads. And then the next little thing is that, I was hoping that I don't want anybody to feel forced to join as a member, but I do want to offer more to those who do want to be a member so that this can actually become more of my time. Instead of picking up other side jobs, I would love if this channel could be more of the freelance work, so to speak, that I do. It's either this or, getting graphic design job stuff. But honestly, I love doing this, and I'd love to research videos, do more in-depth stuff, whether that means sharing with you guys more of the process or, dare I say, learning to edit better. Haven't edited on a computer much in 15 years since they were those big iMacs with the colorful backs that are round, where the monitor's like built in with the whole computer. Yeah, that's the last time I was doing much editing. I was really into it in high school. But in any case, that's kind of the gist of things tonight. And the other thing is, I figured I wanted your opinions, just some fun little things too, about like, what do you guys want for the little symbols for the membership thing, for the entry level, for mid level, whatever. It could be as simple as that, or it could be, hey, I noticed that you didn't have X, Y, or Z as a feature, and I'm happy to add more content. The other thing is, everything that folks have been getting so far, I don't want any of that to change. So if you like the channel the way it's been, you can't, there's nothing to complain about. Like you're good to go. This is about making the channel, taking it to the next level, and also providing a little more value, maybe, or stuff like that to the channel. Peplin Creek, speak of the devil or an angel, however you'd like to frame yourself. But we have a new member. Welcome aboard. Peplin Creek, always good to see you. Saw you this morning at 5 a.m. my time. So that's what? 6, 11, 12, 13 hours ago. Craig, always good to see you. There is a name that looks about like Elon Musk's child's name. So is it Devirametem Chin? Devirametum Chin. And then Muppet929. Oh, Muppet, I was gonna make you a wrench wielding psychopath. No, a benevolent dictator amongst the chat. Novice Aquarius, hello, how are you doing? Cheers. I know that in the morning it might have been a little early, but now we can cheers. We can have a little drink. Uh, I'll play a game. Every time I say you have to drink an entire can of whatever it is you like drinking. Um, so we'll wait for some folks to filter in, and what I will show you in the meantime is my aquarium up here that I have trimmed down a bit, trying to let some of the broadleaf plants grow, like the Logonandra carolensis, the Logonandra meboldi, the Logonandra barongi, that's back in here, that's real slow, dark green grower. And, as well as, also this little bulb. This is the one, when I was on Father Fish this morning, this is a bulb that will not grow. It's been like this for 6 months. It doesn't die, but it doesn't grow. So that's another weird one. And it's got a counterpart right here. This is Nymphea minutia red. The other one is Nymphea minutia just normal, like bronze or whatever you want to call it. Millions and Sons, I appreciate your being on tonight for all of us. Hope your recovery continues to go swimmingly. Well, thank you so much. Jennifer, hello, welcome. De Virum et Machina. Is that machine in Spanish? No, maybe not Spanish. Any case, I don't know, Portuguese? What is it? So, where are you at? I want to know everything. Tell me. So, live streams notoriously have terrible color, in case you guys don't know that. But the Cabamba Furcata is just electric pink right now in this tank. And so I'm pretty happy about that, Just in case, what's going on? Tau Seti, hello, made it in time. Aquaballs. Hello, good evening. Aquaballs, you know what? I just tried again to give you a wrench, and it must not have worked. I'm hoping a couple people log on that I also gave wrenches to. Let me think here. Chubs and Chevy Fish. I gave them wrenches, so we'll see if some of this is working, because 2 out of the 15 people that I was like, you know what, they all deserve wrenches, got them. Can fish catch what is going around? I can't say the word just in case. So we'll go with the Modelo virus. And we do not think so, but mammals sure can. If you are curious about what diseases, viruses, and bacteria can transfer from humans to fish, fish to humans, and back, then we would definitely be able to watch. What was I going to say? Oh, right. If you want to know about that, I have a video on that. So if you want to know about it, you can go watch that. It's like an hour long, and it's very dry. Let's see here. Vanau Truly says, I would like to see the whole membership thing go away and have YouTube go back to compensating creators with ad revenue. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Thank you guys. I have to say thank you so much. I had 1 million views last month on all my videos put together, and that made me $212. So that used to make you $4,000 to $5,000. Pretty crazy how that has changed. But yes, YouTube is always changing things, and as is such, I did this as a hobby, but now I feel like we've got such a community, and I have so many folks also with Patreon starting to grow, so many folks that are requesting help with fish, and that I'm involved with these fish every day of the week, obviously, because it's what I love to do, but I'm involved with them also on a digital level, online and everything. And so the reason I want to do membership also is it hopefully, I mean, you don't have to be a member. I'm not taking away anything. I'm not taking anything away from those of you who currently enjoy the channel. What I'm trying to do is add more options for those of you who watch a lot and have the money to spare and find it enjoyable. I am a member of several channels like Steenfot Aquatics, like Bob lives up north from me about an hour and a half, and I like tuning in on his channel, or Lucas Brett's, or Miss Jinx, things like that. I become a member of their channel, and I'll do one for a month, and then I'll switch around, or I'll do a super chat. The super chats, they kind of relentlessly take a cut of, but so far the memberships, 70% goes to the creator. In my state, 37% of that revenue of the 70% then gets taxed. So then I get what's left. So it's basically like 45% of whatever the membership fees are once it clears the bank. So I'm just trying to be transparent and honest with you guys about the idea of YouTube as a business, and the fact that, if I'm gonna do 2 live streams a week, and I'm going to try to make 2 to 3 videos a week also, or even just 1 to 2 videos a week also, it's 30 to 40 hours easily of time that usually goes into putzing around and researching and looking at stuff, or filming my aquariums, taking care of my aquariums, and trying to find something interesting. Setting up I have 2 cameras that I just set up in my fish room, and sometimes I just hang out and watch and wait for something interesting to make me wonder, how's that happening? And that'll be the video. So I just definitely, I I would love to take this bigger. I'm used to living as an artist, and I'm used to being pretty MacGyvery with my budget. So, but the other big part of this is, I don't want it to be charity. I want to do a good job, and I want to, I consider you guys my friends, and I don't take any insult if you guys don't like the concept of it. And I can totally respect that. Same with like Facebook. Some people want to be a part of the chat community, but they just really don't believe in what Facebook stands for with the way they take your information and keep it. Same with Google or whatnot. And like I said, I can respect that. I just I wanted to address the elephant in the room that I'm going to try this out. And if this works for you, then great. Fake name from up in BC. Thank you so much for joining as a member. This is the second night, still the first 24 hours that you can be a member. Does YouTube disclose how much money they make from your channel? They don't, and they're being sued in Europe over this, and in Australia, because they also don't provide, obviously, any benefits, retirement, anything like that, sick pay, days off, obviously. And I can tell you for a fact that the price it costs to run ads, when many people have bought them and figured out the math of how many views they get or being told they got, YouTube is taking a huge cut. And then we don't even realize that the bigger piece of what YouTube makes money off of is our data. So in the long run, they're compiling consumer profiles. Since YouTube is owned by Google, they then sell that to Google. So YouTube really wants to know, how long did your mouse hover over each thumbnail? It tells me that now that I set up the membership program. I feel really dirty to know that. Like, it tells you how quickly people clicked on each thumbnail versus if they skipped it. And then when they clicked on your thumbnail, how quickly did they click on an ad if you are running ads? And the whole thing just feels really predatory. And in one way, I guess I like ads that are relevant to me in a way, but that's because I'm somebody who doesn't want to buy things usually. I mean, if they were selling fish, live fish, I'd be effed. I'd be in trouble. But as it is, I have t-shirts that are, older than probably some of you watching easily. So that piece of it, I'd rather see like an REI or hiking ad or a Dr. Pepper ad than, I don't know, whatever, reverse mortgage ads. But I do feel like it has gotten ridiculous. And Google and YouTube basically have what has now surpassed cable in most of Europe and in parts of America, definitely in the big cities. More people watch YouTube and or Facebook clips of YouTube or whatnot than they do the actual cable shows. And I mean, people used to be getting. So think about this, you guys. During the Super Bowl, say 50 to 100 million people are actively watching live on TV. It used to be, this was like 10 years ago. Three to $5 million to run a 30-second ad for Pepsi or something like that. It's even higher now, but I just remember this math from years ago. So on the big channels like uh, I guess Lele Pons or Jake Paul or the kid who does toy unboxings or oh, what's his name? The Norwegian guy who does Let's Play videos and stuff. So in any case, my point is that during the Super Bowl, ad revenue and things before it was targeted. So this is a blanket ad going out. Now you can have channels that have 100 million followers. That's, or even just let's say a million, let's say 10 million. And if they're all going to see this ad for 10 seconds or it's a 30 or 50, I think now the 15 seconds is the longest the unskippable ads are, I think. They keep changing it. But we don't necessarily determine that as a channel. The ones in between, they can still slip those in. The ones in the mid-roll, we're supposed to have control over once you're monetized fully. And then you get more control once you hit 100,000 subscribers and then even more when you hit 1 million. But basically, my point was that for 30 seconds of your time, of assured time, and that's not even assured when you were watching the Super Bowl, and it's not targeted, they pay $3 to $5 million for an ad. Well, I can definitely tell you that on the channels that have 20, 30 million subscribers, they're not making $2 to $3 million a video at all. They're making, like, Mr. Beast is another big one. And, in a year, he's made something like $40 million net before taxes. So YouTube's probably made, and I'm not joking, almost $1 billion off of him and all the other stuff behind it. So it's kind of a weird world, but at the same time, we want to keep this thing going that's been created. We've all kind of gotten addicted to it, and I consider it. You guys, my family, my friends, are on here. So, Super Cartridge Kid, how is it going? Welcome to the membership. I enjoy that. So the other thing that we'll have to decide on, or I guess I will have to decide on, is yeah. So PewDiePie. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you, Cichlids. 23 leaves about 25 million on the table each year. Yeah, and he's the biggest YouTuber. He has like what, 150, 160 million subscribers now, and his average watch time's like 5 or 6 minutes per video. So it's just kind of crazy to me that they've gotten away with not doing benefits. I mean, not for my level, but for when for when people are really like cranking in millions of views on every video, you would think that it would be worth something, especially when they can tailor those ads right to that person. And they're charging top dollar, YouTube and Google are. But really, like I've said, in many things, like when Google was becoming a search engine, they knew all the way back in 1999, 2000, that the data that we all had would be by far the most expensive thing, that they have to sell. And that all happens behind our backs. We don't know what's going on with it. So, yeah. All right, guys. So let's stop. I'll stop complaining or what's the word? Going off on that thought train. But I would like to know, those of you who want to join the channel, or those of you guys who are like, I can kick in a $1.99 a month, whatever. But I'd like to get out of it. Part of it is just that, the live streams now, when we're planned, the ones that are on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5 or 6 p.m., we've been hitting up to 100 viewers at once and up to 500 viewers throughout the stream coming and going, which I'm so happy about. I mean, thank you guys. I'm honored. I love that. But what does that look like as this channel when I've been used to 4 years of being able to talk and answer most of your questions in a live stream? And I think that's what makes the channel helpful too. So part of this whole thing is that each level of subscriber will get their own live stream monthly now too. And so that way, if you're even the $1.99 a month, you'll get a live stream where I'll see the question, where I can see the question after it scrolls by. Because part of the problem is the chat just scrolls by and then it doesn't save a question unless it's a super chat, which is crap. I don't want you guys to have to pay every time you have a question, or be a member to talk. And what I'm torn on is, do I act like an elitist and do I not show the streams that only members can talk in? And that's sheerly because you guys have said, we like your content, we want to give you something for your time and energy, and therefore I want to say, okay, you guys matter. You have a question. I want to give you as much as I can on it. If I don't have an answer, then hopefully I can do some research and help you out, or someone in the chat can. And then, the next level up has more. So the next level up is going to be anything that was questionable about YouTube. So, I mean, there's been lots of videos on this channel where I've had to talk about things such as, well, I mean, honestly, and this will be an interesting process, because I've talked about how tariffs, for instance, or embargoes with certain countries have impacted our ability to get fish. So, for instance, the trade war that has been going on with China and the U.S., I mentioned, that it was going to impact our ability to get cheaply priced goldfish and fish, and as well as rimless aquariums and things, that we're not going to see them available online. And tissue cultures, we're not going to see any tissue cultures whatsoever for a while. So stuff like this just sets some people off on my channel, and usually they're not people who've been listening a long time. They're people who get in and they say, you hate Trump, or you hate Obama, or you hate fill in the blank. And it's not about that. It's about trying to, oh, thank you. This is part of my other job, which also is a weird job in that it's hard to quantify what you pay someone for creativity and time. But yes, I do commission work for usually pets and animals in the holiday season: dogs, cats, fish, lizards. And then I do also illustrations for books. I do botanical illustrations. I used to do big wall murals, but I've messed up my back with lightning and all that. Derek Smith, welcome to the Secret History supporter level channel membership. I greatly appreciate it, my friend. So I was just going through and saying kind of the levels. So that next level above the $1.99 is just kind of a nod that I'm gonna try my best to keep, even if I have 50,000 subscribers next week. That's not gonna happen. But even if that happens, I'm going to try my best to still interact with you guys, answer questions, not blow you off. That really annoyed me when channels grew and I felt like I had a connection with someone and they just didn't have time. I knew it wasn't personal, but I felt like I wish I could even just say, hey, here's a couple bucks. I have this question and it's going to save me $50 in fish when I was learning about, something that I had messed up. So it's kind of just a basic nod to that, and a basic, so out of 199, I get to see. So I get 70% of the 199, obviously. So that's $1.35 I get to take home, and then I get taxed in Washington State as an independent business owner, which is what YouTube gets taxed at, which is 28%. And then on top of that, there's a 15% internet tax. Basically, that's for federal independent employees working on the internet, because they don't classify the job as, they consider it like consulting. So it's 15%. But you can also write things off. So in the end, out of $1.99, I take home $1.35. Then it gets taxed 40%. Say with write-offs, it gets taxed 30%. I don't know. So then it ends up being like, maybe I go home with half or so of the memberships, but that ends up being way more than the revenue that YouTube gives you for ads. So I'm hoping that I can turn off as many ads as possible for you guys that are in my control. And then hopefully you guys won't have to see them. And I'm still learning. So if there's some bumpiness in the next few weeks or month or whatever, please just let me know. Like, hey, Alex, we're still seeing mid-roll ads on your new stuff. Like the old stuff, some of it's going to stay the way it was, just because I'm not going to go change 600 videos. And like you have to go in there and fiddle with it all and pick new timestamps and all that stuff. The channel should be free because it allow people who will be there for the long run to not try to feel like they are forced to pay when they may be willing to in the future. Money is tight for some. I totally agree, Mr. Gromby. And that's why nothing's changing. I'm going to do the same amount of content for the channel. This is for people who want more, or for people who feel that they like the giveaways and things like that on the channel. The money is to go back into the channel at this point, with the goal, I'm going to tell you honestly, of becoming something that is sustainable as a job would be, a part-time job kind of thing. And then therefore, once it hits that level, like, Aquarium Co-op or Dustin's Fish Tanks or Miss Jinx or even Lucas Bretz at times, just different people, they pay editors, they do this, they do that with the money. And so basically, I want to kind of one-man show it for a while and keep it the way it is, but I also want to share with you guys my notes. And to spend the time to do that, I miss out on opportunities to pick up other jobs. So therefore, you kind of have to weigh your options. And so I'm giving this a try. If you guys all hate the membership thing and you're like, it's not worth it, it's lame, we can get rid of it and go back to the way things were. That's fine. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys my opinion on all that stuff. And yeah, so yeah, I don't do any editing. That's why this is vlog style. I want you guys to get the information. I'd love to have better stock footage, B-roll. So like, when I'm talking about specifically, if I'm talking about a gourami with an issue or a problem, I'd love to be able to show you guys that live, or in a video, and have somebody edit that in for me while I talk. But I feel like enough of you guys have found this channel, and you have been so kind and so patient, and just you seem to appreciate that this is basically a very casual in its presentation, but I try to get pretty darn in depth most of the time, unless I'm on a rant about memberships or something. I try to stay pretty fish related, and I try to keep it pretty focused. So Novice Aquarius, thank you so much. We've got support as a secret supporter. Big round of applause there. I really appreciate it. Novice Aquarius, I wish you could do more, but not right now. Please don't feel bad about that at all. And by the way, I don't want anybody to feel guilty if they can't do this. I am not judging anyone because of that. I still will try to answer your questions as they scroll by. But as the channel grows, it will be hard for me to answer questions as we have more and more people just seeing, oh, there's a live stream, I'm going to hop in, which is what happens when your live stream gets bigger. You know, once you hit about 100 people in a live stream, they start showing it to thousands of people, and all of a sudden people trickle in and just start kind of chatting and say, what's going on, what's going on? And they're kind of like a, you know, a curious chipmunk rather than a person who's plugged into the pace of the channel. So but in any case, let me know. So some of the plans that we have to be, or some of the plans that I have for you guys is to add content like that maybe it touches on something like celestial pearl danios. Right now, we're not getting them from the wild. We're getting them from ponds in Thailand, which are considered wild, and from lakes in Thailand, which are considered wild, even though they're not, because there is ethnic cleansing going on in Myanmar, in the area where that's going on. Well, when I say ethnic cleansing, boom, demonetized, boom, the video does not get shared, it does not pass go, does not collect $500 or $200. Should be $500 now, right? It was $200 like way back when on Monopoly. So that kind of content I would love to include for people who are paying a little extra. And then also, I would also like to include things like on YouTube, you can't do giveaways anymore certain ways. So some of the giveaways now, they consider gambling or bribery. And so you guys know that in the winter, I gave away $1,700 in prizes. In the spring, I gave away around $600, and then we gave away $350 or $400 over the summer in gift cards and prizes. And then we just gave away a book, and I still need to get in contact. I haven't given anything away to the three winners yet. But basically, that kind of stuff, I save the money you guys give me and reinvest it into the channel. Or I'll buy, say, from Aquatic Arts, I'll spend $100 of the money that I get from either Patreon or memberships. And then I will also, after that, whatever's left, put that towards utilities or whatever it may be. Fish food, fish meds. You guys know how it goes. And then I just try to share it with you guys. So let's stop talking about all this nonsense. Aquarium Co-op was talking about when he titled his videos as giveaways, people tend not to show up for those. Yeah, Corey. So Corey, he also has a completely different angle about Corey has a completely different angle about. Yeah, yeah, Ken. That's what I was saying. Get a hold of me, Ken. The prize is either $25 gift certificate or, and actually we had a big gift donation, so we can probably increase that. But I mean, off the top of my head, it was $25 originally for third place prize. But instead of that, I could give you $25 cash too, if you prefer, like on PayPal. Because Aquatic Arts, sometimes I can get their gift cards. Like I'll pay them $15 and they'll give me a $25 gift card if I'm promoting the channel, kind of thing. So that always is nice when they'll work with me like that. But usually it needs to be a promotion. And speaking of promotions, the Rainbow Shiners, so they gave me those free when I bought those Corys and the shrimp and some other stuff. So that's kind of how that works. A few people have been saying lately, like, oh, he works for Aquatic Arts. And I don't, but I do get access to talking to the guy who orders fish, and I get some info into their operations and how they're working. And so, yeah. But yeah, Corey's main thing is he's all about making money for his online business. So, yeah. That's kind of his like the whole point of his channel. He's said that several times, and I know him because we grew up in the same exact city. We grew up in the same town, and we're only 2 years apart. So, but yeah, he definitely he's got now a multi-million dollar online business because of YouTube, and through YouTube, he's been pretty transparent. He had a business channel for a while, and a few years or about a year back, he made a video, and he was making about 150 grand a year off of YouTube at that rate, and it's grown since then. And that's not counting his business sales. But then he hires Jimmy to work for him, and Seattle's a very expensive city to live in. And he hires various other people sometimes in videos too to do other work. The guy who does the Aquarium podcast, he also works with. Or the Aquarius podcast, that's what it is. Alan Tooth 48, welcome to Secret Supporter. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. You guys, I really love seeing that you guys are at least saying you're interested in this or want to give it a go. Somebody mentioned the idea of uploading my notes from videos, handwriting style. Those are probably pretty bad, so I might transcribe them, but I definitely want to start sharing links with you guys. So if you guys want to read the research yourself or go down the crazy rabbit hole that I've been on all day when I make a video about like the genetics of guppies and the color orange or something crazy, then I want you guys to have the power, the knowledge to do that. Because in an era right now where people can say whatever, and on social media things just get pushed around and people assume things. The last thing we need is that in our hobby. There's enough urban legends about why things are the way they are. Bettas can't be in a community tank. You name it. There's a million things. And I think just giving people access to either video evidence or access to scientific studies really empowers us, and in the end it helps us all because word gets around. Taylor Gibson Ulsis, welcome also to the club, the membership. I guess we need a name, don't we? And I'm not going to call it the Secret Army or this. Well, it could call it the Secret Service. But yeah, so. Here Fishy has to say, Alex, any interest in Geocesarma? Man, that's hard for me to say. Geocesarma. Crabs, like the ones on Aquatic Arts. They're on my new house wish list. Yes. So I am actually going to talk to them about if they'll cut me a deal. Because right now I'm a little tight on money. My wife and I we made our 5th offer on a house. And like I said, I have a graphic design job, I have an art job, and I have, I have a few other side jobs. If people need help doing aquariums, like dentist's office and things like that, I'll go do that. And then I also do some French translation, and I just do a bunch of random things. So, because of all that, when you buy a house, you pay $1,000 in Seattle. In Seattle's market, you pay the inspection. The buyer does, not the seller. And the sewer scope. So it's been costing us about I don't know. I guess it's cost. We've done 4 sewer scopes now, and on different houses. We came in second 4 times. This was our 5th house we lost last 2 nights ago. So very frustrating. Very frustrating, but my point being is that we spent $1,000 or $1,200 5 times now for nothing. So that was really a bummer. How much would it cost to build a home out in the country over here? In Washington, there is no country right near here. You kind of have to get over the mountains, mostly, McGromby. And to get over the mountains is about an hour and 45 to 2 hours drive. You can go south, or you can go to the Olympic Peninsula, about 3 hours. Out there, you can get a house for around 300,000 or $400,000. In the city right now, it's the average median house is $840,000. It's right up there with Miami and San Francisco and DC and New York City. It's in fact more expensive. Pretty much everywhere other than the center of San Francisco and Manhattan, it's more expensive because we have Google, Boeing, Amazon. We have a big Facebook. We have Nintendo. We have REI. We have Starbucks. I mean, so much is centered in this city, and they all pay. Um, they pay high money, but the service industry doesn't. So I have friends who are bartenders and things who make 30 grand a year and have to have a bunch of roommates, and everybody is really struggling. It's actually creating a lot of tension here. People don't really think about it, but I think it has caused a lot of the social unrest that's going on in our city. If you've seen all the news things, and the news is really exaggerated how big of a deal the quote unquote riots were in Seattle. Seattle has always had riots. It's always been kind of an uppity city. And basically, it's oh, were you watching live, Jeff, on a live stream? Because Seattle police, they've changed for the better a lot, but they used to be really brutal. They were so brutal that the feds took over total control and funding of the Seattle Police Department for 9 years. And people forget that, but we had about 9 shootings that were ruled unjustified, and then the sentencing for the police, they got off. I don't want to get down onto a tangent because that's not the case everywhere. There's lots of good police departments. But my point being is Seattle has some issues where it's really trying to deal with blue collar meets white collar, and also the whole baby boomer who own houses versus no millennials seem to really have the houses unless they are programmers or high in the tech industry or trust fund kids. And so we end up seeing a lot of people with 3 or 4 jobs. They drive for Uber and they work as a real estate agent, or they work at a bar for 5 days a week. They drive for Uber 4 days a week. That's so common here. And the cheapest house that we've seen in Seattle city limits went for around 400,000, and that was one that had a broken foundation, need to be torn down. So it's just, yeah, if you want to go scare yourself, look at houses in Seattle. Literally, I mean, in our neighborhood, and then we'll talk about fish, guys. Sorry, I'm on a tangent and I shouldn't be. It really doesn't matter. It's vaguely political as well. But this house across the street sold for $1.7 million last year. That house sold for $900,000. That brick Rambler. And then let's see here. This blue house over here. And granted, they kind of have a view like we do they have a view like we do. We're on a hill. But no yard. You can see they have like no yard. No garage. And the houses are all built like 50 to 100 years ago. But yeah, that blue house went for 1.6 million because it's like 2,200 square feet. It has a basement too. Whereas, this one apparently didn't, and that one has a garage but no basement. So it's just nuts. Yeah. Yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy. And I don't live in a fancy neighborhood, I mean, by any means. I live in a nice neighborhood, but we also have a bunch of homeless people in the neighborhood, and all sorts of crazy things going on all the time. Cars got broken into 4 nights ago. But yeah, no, we've thought about it. We've definitely thought about moving for sure. My wife is from Ohio originally, Columbus, and we went back there and we could buy 3 houses. Granted, she has one of those good jobs. I don't. She has one of those good Seattle jobs that pays according to the city cost of living. And so if we live here, we could buy the house. If we moved, her job would pay a third of what it pays here probably. So that part is kind of hard. And Eastern Washington is nice, but we like the city in the, where am I going to get my exotic fish? Yeah, I can get them in the mail, but no, I like being a part of as an artist, having gallery shows, having cafes and nightclubs to show my artwork in, and being a member of like a jewelry guild or a wood carving guild when I do that stuff. All that stuff is nice. But we have definitely thought about moving to the Tampa area. We could afford to live there for a few years without working, honestly. Uh, and Yeah, so in any case, let's stop talking about that. Let's talk about. I feel like you guys are here for fish, and I'm monopolizing the time on this. It is kind of a gimme. This live show was kind of just a let's ramble on kind of thing. But I was gonna say about community fish. I better say something, right, guys? Community fish. Yeah, Austin is another, and New Orleans are all other cities we've thought about, and Philadelphia is another one we thought about for a while. I've been to every state except for no, except for Nebraska. And yeah, I mean, I've spent time in every state. I've traveled this country extensively, and I have family all over the country and friends all over the country. So definitely, I've checked out a lot of places. I do love here, though, that you can go an hour and a half and be in the desert. 120 degrees today, literally, on the east side of the mountains. You can be up in the Alpine Mountains where there's still snow and it's 10,000 feet elevation. And the you can go over to the Olympic rainforest. And I like hunting mushrooms. Last year I did a mushroom hunting video. And so we shall see about this year, but it was kind of interesting. I tied in indigenous fish into the streams that were nearby. This is kind of hard to see on the live stream, but these guys have some eggs right now. Sergio does. What I was going to say about community fish is that a lot of times people don't realize that it becomes obvious to anybody who's in the hobby that you need corridoras or you need, catfish, plecos, you need something, erythromicrons, whatever it may be, cribs, something that chills at the bottom. Then you want something like tetras that hang out in the mid-level to the top, or guppies. Guppies are top. Hatchet fish, if you have a lid, pseudomagills, whatever it may be. Angelfish use mid-water, barbs use mid-water to bottom usually. Loaches bottom. So you can get a lot more bang for your buck out of your tank when every level has something going on, especially when they don't intrude each other's levels. And so when you build a tank in a community, I always recommend having a terrace or a tier like this over here. There's a cave system back here, and I know it's dirty right now. I haven't cleaned it because of their eggs. I was going to clean it the other day, but I can't do water changes right now. And also, last night you guys saw that this bulb was put in here. Look at how many leaves are already at the top in one night of growth. Last night only one leaf was at the very top. So I have a video that I want to make about how lilies grow so fast, like biologically. And it's really pretty interesting the way they use osmotic pressure. And they also use vasodilation of their veins. It's also, they keep pressure just like in a straw. When you put your finger on a straw and it's full of water, and then if you were to trying to think of I'll think of a better way to explain it for the video, but basically, it's like, how do you get a tree to pump water 300 feet up or 200 feet up or whatever, 50 meters up into the air, like an evergreen tree, like a cedar or a Douglas fir? It becomes a problem. And even underwater, it becomes a problem with the pressure. So that deep pressure, every, few feet you go, you're adding more atmospheres of pressure to your tank. And your plant needs to keep an even pressure throughout it, or not necessarily even, but so that it can control it. And it does that using water. And the physics of water are pretty amazing. The little tricks that plants have to move that water and thus nutrients around where it's needed. But the other thing that I wanted to say is, a lot of people are worried when they have freshwater tanks or big community tanks. They're worried that their fish are going to not get along. And if you have enough plants and enough hiding, and you're not taking care of some really crazy fish, Oscars, green terrors, piranhas, or pruna sharks or something like that, you can have fish that nip each other like these little angels do. And you want to watch it and see how they get along with one another. But you can have that going on, and it creates a dynamic of movement in the tank. It's interesting. As long as they all have a place to go retire from the stress, they'll be fine. Each angel has their kind of corner in this tank. It's a bow front shaped tank, and then there's obviously like a reef built in that I made. But likewise, this reticulated algae, Siamese algae eater, he can get kind of nippy and he doesn't hurt anyone. He doesn't have teeth to hurt anyone, but he'll sometimes ram the angelfish, just kind of saying, I'm here, I think. But it makes for an interesting tank. And, see the cribs mid-water, for some reason they're defending this area. It'd be really interesting if they chose to nest mid-water. They've always nested either down in this cave or back in that corner. And right now they have some babies that don't dare come out yet, but they do have some babies. Let's look at this tank a little bit, and then we'll go downstairs. No hurry tonight, other than, let's see, battery. We're still good on my battery. The other thing I wanted to thank, Chevy Fish, thank you for wielding the wrench. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that worked out, that you could be that for me. There's supposed to be more of you, so as people pop in, we'll probably see more wrenches. So, also, these little blue panda guppies I put in here because guppies can be a pain, but, you really can't see they're blue in here. I'll have to take some video. See, this is the other thing. So, for members in the future, I hope to have, post still frame pictures too. And we'll work out where we do that. But basically, I want to show, sometimes I have a cool picture, and you guys can check out my Instagram, that's fine. But I do definitely feel more incentive to consistently do it when I feel like you guys are paying a membership. When it's just casual, then it's just on me, and I get behind sometimes or forget it, or life gets in the way. But I would like to feel that a little bit of pressure to stay on top of the things. But yeah, so this gourami, real fat. She's real fat. She's real fat. And I use tap water here. Derek, here in Seattle, our TDS is about 20 most of the year. Right now, it's up to 80, and it's really been messing with stuff, and I can't do water changes. And the last 2 water changes were at 80. Pat, Jess, Cole, I can make you a wrench. I'll add it to my list. You've earned your keep, your trust. I do have to kind of remineralize my water since it is all rain and glacier water with the mountains here. We have three mountain ranges surrounding us, essentially, two main ones. And then we also have glaciers. Um, well, we have glaciers for a while. There's not that much glacier water anymore. But that's where we get our water is from a glacier. Uh, Specifically in this city. I don't know if you guys can make out the leopard plecos down there, but they're sleeping in a pile together. There's three of them. Oh yeah, Chevy Fish, thank you for the wrench. I mean, if you feel like that's, I mean, it's an honor for the respect and trust, but with great honor comes great responsibility. Isn't that what who said that? Batman? No, it's Spider-Man. So, the other thing that's good is I added the lilies up here too, split these lilies, so that the baby panda guppies could have a place to hide. I'm a sucker for guppies and live bears. I don't know. I always say I'm done. I don't need those. I've had them all. And then I find some new strain that I think's beautiful and I can't say no to it. The interesting thing about this gourami is she has banged her mouth against the glass quite a few times. Definitely a problem. We've got some Corridora habrosus in here, just chilling on that little. Maybe that's why this never grows, because this guy's always chilling here. We have some lemon plecos, babies that are actually living in the community. Looks like 3 out of about 200 made it, which is not the best odds in the world, but I'll take it. I don't need plecos all day, every day. And then the honey gouramis, I got them some Cypress Health Fry, and I was really hoping that up here they would start maybe making some bubble nests, but not anything yet. Do need to get new Siamese algae eaters, and the reticulated kind are where it's at. I still need to make a video, and I called Aquarium Zen, and I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to go visit him tomorrow, as well as give the Aquascape winner their prize, the first place winner, Aaron. But I want to. So this whole system is about 50 gallons. It's 48 gallons with the sump and the FX filter, Fluval FX 5. And then the tank itself is a 42 gallon. And it's an Ultim Nature Systems. It was a size that they only made for a while. It was like the U class 90U. 90U plus, I think is what they called it. So it's deeper back than most of their other ones. They have a 90P that was very similar. So this is the 90P, except it has an extra 4 inches back, which changes the volume quite a bit, actually. So from, I think, like 36 to 42. Surprisingly. The other thing I was going to say about this tank, Grommy rules the tank right now. When we had angels in here, nobody would swim. But now, the Kohaku blue tetras, they're a little aggressive too. At night, when the light gets dim, they actually kind of go nuts, and that's why we instigated Peppy the pigeon. Peppy the pigeon stays up here. Look at all this trimming I've done. This is all from yesterday and the day before. This is all leaves from this crazy Prinz Kleiner red melon cross right here. Looks like a watermelon plant. And then the Logonandra Boldi red, which I kind of want to move. I can't, man, I can't wait until we have a house where I can actually have a fish room and have a couple of these tanks like this to actually get some room for growing, because this is so densely packed. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's silly. It's like this all the way back. all the way back. But I make off this tank $50 to $100 a week when I'm really spending money on ferts, root tabs, CO2, and when I'm really working on MySpace, not MySpace, Facebook and Craigslist, and there's people wanting to buy plants. I try to keep plants that are not the ones you would see at like Aquarium Co-op or the places that deliver plants. That's because most of those plants are from Florida Aquatic Nursery, and they're great plants. A lot of them are, Anubias, Java fern, things like that. But some of these unusual ones, mini butterflies, and now we're starting to see more of that, but like Limnophilia or Potamogeton gayi or, red Helmantheri, all those sort of things, all the weird ones, ovalis or Nicea ovalis gold or variegated hygrophila pink or hygrophila polysperma white variegated, or Ludwigia x lacustris bronze, which is a natural hybrid. Here's another one here. I try to keep oddball plants because I can make more money off of them. I sell them for $1 to $3 a stem, basically. This tank is getting CO2, but I've only had CO2 set up for about 4 days in here. It did not have CO2 for a good, I would say probably 5 or 6 weeks. I didn't have CO2 on it for a while, so yeah. Your blue gourami also runs your tank. Yeah, they can be a bit mean. The females are usually good. Total Tropicals TV, g'day from Australia. Hello, fish fam. I hope you're doing well. We hope you're doing well too. Definitely. Uh, let's see here. Ooh, if I ever moved to Tampa, what would I keep outdoors all year? Man, don't get me started. Um, I would say that is very sweet, Carol. I would say that I would probably keep a lot of rice fish just in little pots in the shade. I would keep guppies or endlers somewhere. And then I'd probably have a bigger pond, and I'd really love to keep some bigger cichlids in the limestone water that's out there. One of our friends who's in St. Pete, actually Indian Rocks Beach, the pH of the water was like 8.2, and the TDS was like 400 with a little bit of salt. It was basically the Rift Valley, like Lake Tanganyika in their freshwater creek there. It was a spring. They have a spring on the end out there, and it's not known about except by the locals so much. And there's a nature preserve, and it goes right into brackish water, but there's actually a few ponds that are completely freshwater that have some interesting fish there, including the little pygmy sunfish, as well as lots of there's sailfin mollies, there's blue line shiners, there's the other one is the gambusia. So the gambusias are definitely popular there. They call them millions fish or mosquito fish. And actually in the 1960s, they took around 50 million gambusia fish that they hatched in the course of several years, and they would drop them by helicopter, using helicopters that came back after the Korean War. So they were those like glass bubble style helicopters where you could lean out on the skiff and throw things out of them, and they would throw bins of just teeny tiny little fry, like millions of them, or probably 10,000 a bucket or whatever, and they'd throw those. And it was to control the mosquitoes because back then malaria, quinine was still one of their better ways to stop it, and that's not the best way to stop it. So just kind of an interesting little tidbit. They tried to do a Gambusia giveaway at the Florida Aquatic Aquaculture Center. And hey, look, one of the orange corridoras, Venezuelan corridoras right here, is just cruising up to the top, slowly taking its time. Don't know what it's doing. I think it's drunk. Maybe drunk off CO2. Usually they gulp and then they go back down. I also found out, this is interesting. So a lot of fish and Corydoras I was reading, they don't have lungs per se like we do. They have gills and they need oxygen, but they don't have a lung. Now some fish have lungs, or vestigial lungs, which means leftover lungs from before. And Tyler, Janice, thank you so much for becoming a secret supporter. I really, really do appreciate all you guys jumping in and trying out this thing. You know, seeing if the membership thing works. I'm really interested to see, you know, if a handful of members who can afford it and are willing to, even if it's just for a month here or there when they can afford it, and then you guys want to do something else with the money another time or whatnot. I'm interested to see how it'll affect revenue, and if it's worth like working a whole second time job worth of material, then I would be happy to do it. I would love to work with fish and plants in hopes of accomplishing that. So I'm really curious, and thank you guys for trying this out. Have I ever had or seen cuckoo catfish? Yes, Synodontis petricolus. So cool. Very cool fish. What I was going to finish saying, though, about the lungs is that actually Corydoras, what they're doing when they gulp air, their stomach absorbs the oxygen, which is really quite odd to me. But I thought it would go into their gills or into their, and then through in, you know, I thought they'd have gills and then it would fill and then they'd have lungs. But apparently it goes into their stomach lining and they have a valve, and instead of burping, they basically take that air and they put it into their bloodstream through this special little organ. So kind of cool. Hold on, guys. I need to get another Dr. Pepper. Also, you know, I thought the albino cribs over here were going to finally spawn for me, but they haven't. And I was talking to Dean Tweedle. Oh, well, actually, one's still guarding the nest. So maybe there's eggs in there. I don't know. I've been working on it for 6 months now, and nada. But Dean Tweedle, a.k.a. Master Fish Breeder Dean, he's part of my local fish club too, and actually I will be consulting him to help me build my fish room if that ever happens when we get oh my goodness, that looks delicious.
Get out of here.
Wait, no, let me show what you're eating.
It's a chicken burger.
It looks delicious. And what did you make me?
Chicken burger.
I don't see any. Okay. Thank you, honey. But in any case, Dean can't get him to breed either, so I don't feel that bad. Did you pull this out for me? Look at my wife. Look at her go. She pulled this out for me and was just a sweetheart. Wow, Pat and Jess, thank you so much. We've got a secret supporter level member coming in. Awesome. Have I ever bred bettas? Yes. I have bred bettas many times. I want to stop breeding bettas. In fact, there's too many darn Mountain Dew. Messing me up, Cichlid 23. Let's go downstairs, let my wife watch TV with my fish. They need their alone time. Logan's, what's up? So we're going to go into the disaster room. And pardon me if I lose you guys. Sometimes I lose you guys when I come down here. This room is a mess because I can't lift anything. Also, you know, what was really fun is I just redid a bunch of wiring so that stuff was out of the way, and I have 2 new fuses rerouted and a different setup here so that hopefully nothing blows, and this big line running through here from a whole other fuse from the other side of the house. And with all this madness going on, this tank, my Hillstream tank, started this thing here. This piece came up, slid up like this. I don't know how, like osmotic pressure. Pushed it up, or maybe actually bacteria. Maybe the gas pushed it up. I don't know. However it happened, it came up, and you see how I have it tilted? It actually started dripping down, and so this whole area got water. And so I threw baking soda and, towels and fan and just, nightmare, headache, pain in the butt. But these have been sitting since yesterday, so don't think I'm like killing my fish. These aren't that bad. They're like yellow, orange, and well, that one's red. That one's pretty bad. Um, and then this one's really bad. This tank. I mean, it is redder than when it was up 5 minutes or 10 minutes was up. It gets redder over time. But this was surprisingly this little tank, which, wow, no good. But these guys are my new favorite, and I have a species spotlight video that I already filmed. But I just wanted to share with you guys how much I love this stinking tank. I don't think they'll breed in here, but this is their quarantine tank. I want to give them a much bigger tank. But look at them. They're so crazy. I've never seen such a bizarre little Cory. Look at the size of that fin. My goodness. They look like B-52 bombers. And right now I'm kind of waiting to see if they eat any of the baby shrimp in here. Or for that matter, the little teeny tiny panda loach babies. I don't think they will. But these are the blue, cloudy, pepper, blue pygmy dwarf Corydoras. And they're pepper. Look at that. Look at that fin on the male. He is so proud. It's definitely the alpha of the group here. He definitely will take charge. These ones are the females, I believe. Yes, panda loaches are adorable, and I love them. Panda loaches, if you guys don't know, for 4 years now, I've had them consistently. Had a colony of 12, got 2 babies to spawn out of it, and that was the best I ever did. Alan Bauer, who helped run the aquascaping contest, he is working on. He just moved, and he's got a new house, and he's gonna do like a 40-gallon tank. This is a 10-gallon. I mean, these guys, these are not even full-grown Neocaridina shrimp here, and they're that small. So these panda loaches are super delicate. They only eat biofilm at this age. I got them inexpensive, but that's because more than 50% die in most people's care anyways. That's like the average. My new fish pickups have been neon green rasboras, rocket killifish, leopard frog pleco. Yeah, ooh, leopard frog plecos, love those. That's what I was showing you guys upstairs. And the little killifish, that's what could also go in here just fine. Would be the rocket killies. They call them clown killies, which I think is a dumb name, a creepy name. I like rocket killies much better. But they could go in here really easily because they'll just hang out at the top. They'll pick off a couple baby shrimp here and there. Like there's a shrimp I need to cull. So this shrimp from Lucas Brett's would be still a quality that it would be in his A grade because its genetics are still really good. But for me, I've had his strain now for 4 or 5 years, and I've been culling it, and I still get kind of oddballs. But after all that time and energy, you can kind of see finally, I'm getting really consistent electric blue shrimp that are very nicely sized. So, yeah. Let's see here. The other thing that I wanted to pull up was, oh yeah, the bettas that I bred. So most of the fish that I breed, is that, look at, they're in a pile. They're such goofballs. Panda loaches do this too. It's not because they're cold. I turned the heat up to 78 for them, which is a little warm for the loaches, but they'll deal with it. But check these guys out. I just want to show you guys one from above. Like, check out their pectoral fins. They're insane. Come on. I don't want to, poke them, actually, but... And then they have a beautiful blue color, too, which they were more colored up when they were eating blackworms the other night, but... Yeah, just epic. And the panda loaches are small enough that I just think they don't see them. They don't care. They're just out of sight, out of mind, size wise. And honestly, same with a lot of the shrimp. The shrimp, this is my shame, but also a trick. This is just Sawassertong, moss, and lots of algae. And I let it grow, but there's literally just shrimp. Mother shrimp. Like, this is a big old pregnant mother shrimp right here. Here's another big old pregnant shrimp up here. And then there's baby shrimp right here and over here. And they're eating stuff in here. Planaria tend to hide in this same mass, but I keep it over the air stone and the sponge filter and up near the light, and it's like biofilm, totally where they like to graze. I mean, just as much as, like right now, they're grazing down here because I put some algae wafers in. Looks like we got a pregnant female there. We got a lot of pregnant females, actually. Wow. Oh, wow. Pat Jess Cole upgraded to secret supporter. Yay. Looks like also I may have some eggs left over. A lot of times, I was going to say, what I do with these tanks down here is I just keep shrimp in them. And then when I want to breed a nano fish, I just throw, like, I'll take one of these. I'll put the female in here and let the males cruise around. And then I'll put them together after a week of feeding them live food. And then in 2 or so days after that, I'll release them at night. And then in the morning, they'll spawn. And up here, we got the goby tank. Man, the live stream gets grainy and crappy. Dan, have a great night, buddy. Good to see you. What's the difference between a regular and a secret supporter? So, on the different supporter levels, and we're still working this out, like I said earlier, if you become a member at $1.99, that's going to let you in on the chats that are members only. So you can ask questions, get your questions answered, even if this channel keeps getting bigger and bigger. In the live streams, 60 to 100 people is not uncommon. Now, so at the peak of the stream. So I want to be able to still get to y'all, which is great. But I'm still going to try to answer even people who aren't members, obviously. But if you want to be that that level of supporter, that's the basic, just, $1.99 is basically a tip. It's a thank you. I'll try to do another stream once a month to make sure I didn't miss your questions. And, it's also access to when I can do giveaways and things like that. I think we're going to close off some of the giveaways just because I've been reported twice now to the Gambling Commission of Georgia. Georgia has some really bizarre laws, apparently, with gambling and giving things away. You can't give things away without calling it a sweepstake. If you call it anything else, if you slip up and call it that, like a giveaway or I don't know, awards or prize drawing, whatever you want to call it. If you call it something else, they can actually get you pretty bad. They can fine you $500,000 in theory, and somebody just decided to call the gaming commission on me during giveaways. I'm assuming it's somebody who didn't win or something. But I couldn't do giveaways without making them, without you guys doing skill-based actions. So I thought, that's silly. I want to just give stuff away. And legally speaking, with the law watching, I have to be careful. However, if it is a closed community, and it's not just publicly accessed, if it is a club, which YouTube membership basically counts you in as a club member. Sorry guys, I'm just moving some light here. Then I don't have to worry about any of that. And everything's gravy and I can just do the giveaway. Yeah, and I thought it was just like one crazy troll or something, but it's happened in 3 of my giveaways now, and I've had to deal with the feds once, and they were like pissed for even having to call. And then the Georgia people, though, were not kidding. So whatever. Then the other thing was what else was I going to tell you guys about the levels of supporter? Oh, so that's the first level, so that I can just speak freely and not worry so much about the casual person dropping in, so that I can basically just, have my peeps that are dedicated. And I don't want that to mean, oh, you have to give me $1.99 to be in the club. It's not supposed to be like that. It's just meaning that I feel like most people can spare that, and if you want to, that tells me you're willing to go like the kind of extra mile. I mean, it's like a can of soda in Seattle. It costs $1.99. And so I want to give you guys back some more time on top of the average monthly time. So that's the first thing. Second level is that you guys get access to announcements of the giveaways. You'll get extra drawing entries and things like that. You'll also be able to, when I have videos that might have swearing or music that's copyrighted, when I've done like relaxing videos with an underwater camera, for instance, things like that, you guys will then get access to those. And then anything else that's like, hey, can you not publish this publicly? Like when I went to the Florida Aquatic or Aquaculture Center, they told me you can show your friends this video, but don't show anyone else for 6 months. So things like that. If I say it's not open on YouTube, it's just for, supporters or Patreon or whatever, I can get a lot of clearance into going into like wholesale places and giving tours and things like that that aren't technically open to the public. So I do have videos saved away of places like that where I told them, okay, or even honestly Dean's Fish Room, he didn't want me to be going all over town because he didn't want every other podcaster and aquarist in the area to hit him up and demand a tour. But when I was with Dustin's Fish Tanks about 3 or 4 years ago, we extensively did interviews and toured Dean's Fish Room over in Bellevue. And so stuff like that, like old footage, weird footage. Maybe I'm out fishing and I drop a swear word and it's not the best for just people who don't know the channel. Stuff like that. So I wanted a place where I could dump that kind of content, as well as content that's just really nerd level 100, like if I'm talking about osmotic regulation of pressure in plants, that video, maybe that's a better video. Like if I do an hour-long talk on it, maybe that's a better video for private consumption, for you guys that want to give extra. Or the other thing is where videos go to die. So then the next level up of supporter, the $10 a month supporter, you guys actually get to decide. Everyone will get to vote if I have community polls, like what do you want to hear next? What do we want to learn about? But the $10 supporters will actually get to say like, hey, I'll shout them out in a video every month if they have their own little aquatic company or something. It's a pretty cheap ad to go out when my videos see a few thousand people pretty frequently. So, I'll say it if it's not too obnoxious and it's true that you have a good product or whatnot, as long as I've vetted it a bit. It's also, people can say, here's a shout out to my boyfriend or to my kid or whatever. So that's one little thing that's on there. Another one is more access to the behind the scenes footage and to my notes as well. So when I do something like this, I'm hoping to type out more of it in the process, because this doesn't probably mean that much to you guys. But when you have a video and you can see all this with hyperlinks to the articles and things, as well as just extra content. So say I am sitting and I am researching. Oh, and discounts on my merch, my clothing and stuff. That hasn't been super hot. I've sold about 300 shirts as merch in a year, which, I mean, thank you. That's awesome. But it doesn't seem like people care that much if they get 10 or 20% off. But I mean, I'm glad to push those discounts so that I'm not making the money off the merch. So you can just get it for basically printing, shipping cost, to the supporters at those levels. And same with the $25 levels like that too, the highest level. But here's something that I could put on there. So this is like a plan I had to build an acrylic nature aquarium, where basically it was an arch that would go over the doorway, and you'd walk through it and look up, and it'd be fresh water. I've seen that salt water many times, but not fresh. And then another idea that I had, and this is one that, like, I'll give it out here because I'm not that worried about you guys. I trust you guys. There's not a ton of people in here right this second, but essentially, like, here was an idea that I had, and I have all these ideas for products and for whatever. Or maybe I breed a fish that people get pissed off on the main channel, like, you can't mix a CPD and erythromicron. That's heresy. And so I just don't want to go there, so I don't post it. Well, I'll post it on these higher levels. But so my idea here, if you can make out any of this madness, is to have a modular setup. So this would be squares for your shelf. And you'd have a tank here, and then you'd have ripariums that have a trickle, like waterfall here to aerate. And then you'd have another square set of square tanks that the overflow would just barely go into. And then at the very bottom, you'd have a big old sump tank that has your big fish in it. And so this would be a big old bookshelf, like 10 feet wide or whatever. And you could do a light at the top, and then you'd have room for the space for some lighting here, and maybe some lower LED frame lighting. But my idea would be so that you'd have pieces that are pre-made that fit together so that you can click them together, kind of thing. So I don't know, I have these crazy ideas. Here was how I built a little filter. Yeah, Tony. I do have a bunch of people watching replays. You're right, Muppet. But I mean, if someone does this, it would be rad. And I mean, I could probably say this is my idea. I have thought about getting a provisional patent. I might on this one actually. But I've seen things similar, and most people screw it up. But I've worked in aquarium shops. I've worked with fish for 20 years now, seeing what's out there. And I think I've got some proprietary ideas that I won't show on here for sure. But like, here's another idea of doing like a paludarium up here, or even just like a riparium, just a riverscape, and there'd be holes in the bottom, so it would drain, it would drip. There'd be tubes so that it's not just bottom mulm water. And then here you'd have a slight whirlpool because you'd have water coming at angles. So that would be like for pseudomagills and fish that like to swim. And then here you could have it dripping again. I mean, I don't know. I just had all sorts of crazy ideas. Another thing, like, you drip this here, and as it goes down, it aerates, and then you'd have the CO2 diffusers behind the wall here. And then you could have a bookshelf here, and then the water would break here. And again, you'd have plants that you could plant along the living wall side of this and out here. And then at the very bottom, you would have separate betta chambers. So I don't know. You guys may think that I'm crazy. That's fine. But this is the kind of stuff that I feel like I want to share with someone. And like, I don't know who, and I felt like, maybe membership, maybe people who also like are willing to put some money in and want to help me with this. I have app ideas too, but there's other stuff too that, strictly speaking, you shouldn't be publishing someone else's work, but like out of date books like this one that, or it hasn't been printed since 2003. I'd like to be able to share, you know, if I cover something in a video, in that same week, I'd like to be able to post, you know, some of these cool old ads and things like that. Some of our luminaries of the hobby. You know, so I've just got lots of books and magazines and journals. And not that I don't want to take anything from anybody who could still be making rights off of it, but this book sells for $200 on eBay, usually $150, $200. And these inventions are from 1910. I don't think anyone's too worried about it, but we can learn a lot from our past. You know, these are the types of goldfish bodies that existed in 1910. So stuff like this. Also, then the types of paradise fish that existed. Things like that that I have access to, that I come across. I want to share with somebody. I know I said the room's a mess. So, that's that. These guys have eggs again. Thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah. Again, I've screwed up in this tank in that these two fish are too dominant. The Danios and things that used to be kind of subdominant, they've taken to hiding. The swordtails kind of come out. But the tiger barbs, they don't. The tetras just hide. The gudgeons only hang out down in here. And the gobies, they're okay. They'll come out if I'm here. They just don't care unless a human's around. They're very playful. But yeah, these angelfish always lay their eggs now in the center. They started out in the corner, and now they're dead smack center. They used to like being in the plants so that they were kind of hidden, and now they don't give a damn. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. So, yes. Yeah, Pat and Jessica, you should get a little black book. I have lots of ideas. You know, a lot of apps that exist are ideas that I had, and I'm sure thousands of other people had the idea too, but somebody else put it together. But I do have old notes where I'm like, there should be an app where you can tell your friends when you get to a place on your phone. This is before smartphones. You could text and say, the party's at whatever, this bar or this concert venue. And then every Saturday night there would be a forum that would show you where your friends are if they wanted to share that. That was one of my ideas. And then like Foursquare, or is that what it's called? Foursquare came out, and I was like, damn, that's like exactly what I thought of. And then Twitter came out, and I was like, that's even better. So things like that. But I have lots of tinkering I do. I mean, this is a mess. I'm sorry that you guys are seeing all this craziness and all this. This is from unboxings too. But, you know, little secrets like when I'm working on something and I find out that a certain chemical does something, or that perhaps maybe I can source something like a certain all-in-one fertilizer that you would buy normally from one place, but I found the place that mass manufactures it, and you can buy a gallon of it for the same price as a pint bottle. Little bits of information like that that I can share. Or little discount codes when I get told, only let your friends know this, but you can let some people know. When I don't have a deal where I can tell anybody who wanders onto the channel to use it, but rather they say keep it limited to like people who you think are going to actually spend money, or who actually know what they're doing. Like, oh, I'm trying out this new website, for instance, when Get Gills was new. All those sort of things I'm lumping into like possibilities of what you would get from membership. Like starting to share a lot more of what stays secret in the hobby and in my life earlier in the process of it being fleshed out. So that is that. So I hope you guys are having a good night. I will be back. That's not how it goes. I'll be back. Again, just like he always is. I'll be back. What will that be? Saturday afternoon. Nem Jeff Destroyer, I wish I could afford a membership. Sounds great, dude. Well, the same old stuff that's always been on this channel will still be here. And, you know, the only part that I really don't like about this is that it forces me to save some stuff for the members. Whereas before, my big mouth might say it to everyone, even though I probably shouldn't have. I like saying it to everyone. I don't like pay to play. So as long as I can keep giving you guys the same quality content as I've always had, then that's fine. Oh, also, I wanted to give a big thanks to Bill Litt. Yeah, BILLLITT, Bill Litt, for a $20 donation via Venmo, which I don't know how they found me. They must have been from an old video where I posted Venmo. But that's awesome because nobody took a cut from that. I mean, I'll have to pay taxes on it. But thank you very much. That was, I mean, it was just a surprise. I was like, what's this? What did I do? Do I owe $20? Oh, no, I'm getting $20. So that was very sweet. Thank you. That will be going to probably the Siamese algae eaters I'm getting. I will be making a video, hopefully tomorrow, on the difference between the flying fox, Siamese algae eater, Siamese reticulated algae eater, the Chinese algae eater, and then the black line algae eater. So yeah. Oh, my Venmo's in my description. Okay, never mind. Jeff, thank you. There's that. Jeff probably needs a wrench, so I should get on that. Sharing links and all that stuff. In any case, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to get back with my wife. We're going to watch, I think the show's called Pen 15. Whoa, what the heck? Sorry, guys. There is a small fish that was not a guppy that this angelfish tried to kill for a second. Like, went berserk over it. And it was a mid-sized fish that I haven't seen in a while. And I'm curious whose baby it was. It may be a gudgeon, which would be nice. If the gudgeons finally spawned, I would be very happy. Alright, so thank you guys. Thank you, you new members, you wonderful people. Thank you, you non-members, you wonderful people. I understand what it's like to not have money. Or I understand if you guys have another favorite show or channel. Or if on principle you don't want to pay for it. Because it's YouTube, gall darn it. And you already pay for your internet. I understand that. So, but I do want to thank you for those of you who go above and beyond. I will try to be going above and beyond. I'm trying to stick with this consistency. As long as my health allows it, I'll be there. And, yeah, so that's kind of the rundown, the skinny, the meat and the potatoes, the fat of the matter. So, chew on the fat. Think about it. If you guys have ideas like, hey, please include... we want you to record voicemails for us at this level. Yeah, I'll record a voicemail for you. Whatever, you know, that was a silly example. But if you have something that you think would be a good addition for the memberships or a reward, then that's great. And maybe the other thing I might do is, after a few months, maybe I'll release that other info for everyone, and then it would benefit everyone. But it would be long enough after that it wouldn't be like a full multimedia experience. Jeff, plant trimmings, so that's another thing. Basically, if you're in the membership, you have my ears because I get notifications. They don't let you forget about the notifications when you get messaged on Patreon for sure, or on the members thing on YouTube. Same with Super Chats. That's why people answer them. I hate to say it, but YouTube has made it so you don't see every comment, and so that you see those very well. And because of that, people respond. And I do sell plants. I do sell fish. I don't like to ship fish most of the year. Plants, however, I can sell most kinds and ship most kinds. I've given away a lot to subscribers. And I do a lot of trading to get a hold of all the species I have. So that's something that even not being a member, people are able to kind of do. But moving forward, like I said, we've hit almost 15,000 people, and it gets real hard to remember all the promises or things you say to all these people messaging you. So it kind of becomes pay to play, but it also, if I've known you long enough, it's not pay to play. Like if you're here consistently, I'll start remembering you, and that's that. You're gonna know, and we can talk about it. But yeah, that's the bottom line. Is just that I will do. I will sell plants definitely, but I can't sell them to people outside the country. And some people get very demanding or very specific, or you have snails. I didn't know that. I want my money back. Things like that. And so I've kept it close to just people who I know, who I know are not unhinged. Not saying that's unhinged. You should tell people you have snails, but that was a quick example. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. I've bantered on way too long, and most of it hasn't had that much to do with fish. But thank you, and welcome new members. Welcome new mods. Chevy Fish, thank you. And anybody else who wants to be a mod, drop a comment after this loads. It takes a minute, an hour or two to load sometimes, but drop a comment and I will get you a wrench if I know who you are, like here Fishy or whatnot. I'll get you a wrench and you can participate in the ban hammer and all that stuff. So, all right, guys, take care. Take care of each other and your critters and yourself. I'll talk to you later. Oh, Jeff just got secret supporter at the last second. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate it, brother. I will talk to you guys later. I'll talk to you guys on Saturday, and I will probably be dropping a video tomorrow on those quarries and on their species spotlight. I wish I could tell you who discovered them and all that jazz, but there isn't any information on that yet. So it's going to be a vague one, but just some footage of them in basic care. Talk to you guys later. Bye.